Hey there, Canonites. Welcome back for another video diving into the gameplay of Halo Infinite. Today we're going to be going over forward operating bases, high-value targets, and outposts like Ransom Keep. So obviously we're starting off with forward operating base Golf. This picks up right after the last mission. This is like right where you're dropped off. This is right where you're dropped off. So this is the first forward operating base that you can grab. If you so choose. You can grab these in any order. Now, every forward operating base actually will have its own audio log, but I've already collected that by this point. Like I said in the last video, this is a second playthrough because, like an idiot, I didn't record my initial shit. But during this, I did end up finding a second audio log nearby, so that was actually quite fortuitous. Once again, I cut out the audio since I don't want to spoil nothing. These audio logs are really, really good. When I'm done, once I've found them all, I plan to just kind of sit down and listen to them, spend the, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it ends up being. I haven't timed this shit, so don't take my word on that. Anyway, though, as you can see here, this is what happens when you get a forward operating base. Obviously, it's a little more played out this first time, but you take one over, and that becomes a fast travel location you can go to and access. You'll see some of the perks of it, too. It also unlocks, as you'll see in just a moment, the locations of nearby points of interest, such as Marines you can rescue, or stuff like Ransom Keep, or high-value targets. Yeah, and I love that they explain this, too. There's the extra stuff I just mentioned. Now, you might notice some extra symbols on here. Some of that just kind of shows up for a second playthrough. Like, if there's stuff that you found in a previous save, it'll show up on your map once you capture an in-range FOB, it seems. But that's the high-value target we're going to be going at. High-value target we're going to be going after, Orko Vagadoon. Now, you can see a little bit of a description under his name on the left there, but as the weapon just mentioned, you can go into the database and read a full dossier on him. Well, not the database. It would be under targets now since they kind of broke that up. The database was originally going to have forward operating bases, your targets, and the audio logs, but they broke that up into three separate things. So, as you just saw, I called in a mongoose. Because this is early game, that's all I can really call in at the moment. As you play through the mission or play through the game, you unlock more and more vehicles that you can unlock. You unlock more vehicles that you can call in. Anyway, you can see that the Halo physics were very much intact on my brief ride down the side of that cliff. In some ways, they actually almost feel like they've been bumped up to 11, and like especially the mongoose and warthog, they are super bouncy, both for better and for worse in some cases. But as you can see, I was headed to do a high-value target, and I just encountered a banished patrol out here in the wild, and that's very, very common. In the recent Game Informer coverage, in the recent IGN coverage, they talked about how the map of this world is smaller than something you might get in a traditional open world game, like an Assassin's Creed. But that really works to its benefit because that means you're more likely to constantly have something to come across, something to make the world feel alive. It doesn't just have these giant empty spaces. There's usually always something going on within eyesight or close enough nearby. Now, we're finally at the high-value target mission for Orko Vagadoon. And that was him in the cloaking there. Now, I died that first time because I just wanted to emphasize this game is brutal. Again, I am playing on normal, and I die a lot in this game. I've cut out most of those deaths, but I've kept a few in just to emphasize how tough it is. So, this is, I believe, my third or fourth attempt at this, at going after Vagadoon here. And I finally... No, I'm sorry. This is the second time. I got lucky with this one. A different boss I had some real trouble with. But no, this is the second time. You saw I started by upgrading my shields, so I'd have tougher shields. That really emphasizes to me, especially that these upgrades, like, they're not necessary, but if you don't go grab them, if you don't look for those Spartan cores to upgrade your gear, you are going to be hurting in this game. Now, I killed Vagadoon with the Cinder Shot there. That was another special weapon I found in a cave. But now that I've killed him, I was able to pick up his energy sword, which is called the Duelist Sword, I think it was called. I think it is. I think it seems like I can run faster. I can definitely swing faster. So, it feels a lot like the... not the Vorpal Talon. I'm trying to remember what the... the Ravening Sliver from Halo 5, it feels like. But yeah. And as the weapon we'll get into once this encounter is concluded, once you've defeated a high-value target and their cohort, whatever you want to call it, their men, whatever, you unlock that weapon at forward operating bases, so you can then summon it in and use it for future missions, which we're going to do in a little bit. Oh yeah, here she is talking about it. There's the Duelist Energy Sword. Copied it. To the forward operating base, which, yeah, you can use it for future missions, which, again, we'll see. Sorry for the white noise, just trying to fill in time while this... till we get to the next section, which should be coming up any second. There we go. So this, I was on my way to another target. I can only show the Orgo one for now, though. Or I can only show one, and I chose Orgo Vagadoon, just because it's the one that everyone knows about. But there are some very fun HVTs, high-value targets. But anyway, on my way to do another mission, I encountered, again, just this random banished patrol out in the field by a UNSC Bumblebee escape pod. And hey, look at that. There's a nice rocket launcher in there for me to replace that that sword I just lost. Now, though, we've skipped forward a bit, and we're doing Ransom Keep, which you might remember from the campaign overview. This is the one with the fuel silos. So, you might recall that we were told that basically when it comes to missions like these, you can just approach them however you want. And that was far more true than I think I was ready for. You saw I was able to come in from a distance, shoot out that silo. I tried to get the second silo with a second rocket, but I didn't pay attention to my fuels, to my ammo. I should have had it fully loaded. I might have been able to take out two at once then. Also, I'd probably want to shoot the further one first if I want to try that. It's something to consider for the future. Hey, you might have seen just there when you enter a new area, like a designated area like Ransom Keep or the Tower, as we'll do in the next video. It tells you what collectibles are in that area, what you can find. Now, the thing to note is that it doesn't necessarily mean that these collectibles will be found within the boundaries of Ransom Keep in this case. They might be found in the hills and mountains surrounding it. Also, yeah, again, I die a lot. Or I died a lot. And I just wanted to keep some of those deaths in here to emphasize this game. Now, as much as I've said I die, those deaths feel fair to me. The game never felt like I'm being unfairly overpowered. It never felt like the game was pulling some cheap BS to get me, if that makes sense. Whenever I died, it felt like that was my mistake. I didn't pay attention to the surroundings. I didn't keep an eye on my health, etc., etc. I love that bounced right onto him. Perfect. But, yeah, the game feels very fair. And that's actually true. I should have mentioned this. That feels very true of the bosses, too. At worst, some of the bosses might feel a little underwhelming. I won't say specifically why or which ones, though, just so you all can make up your own mind about that. But even then, like, even the most underwhelming bosses are still very fun to fight. Like, even if they're not the most fun mechanically, they're usually pretty fun story or lore-wise. But, let's see. Oh, yeah, taking out the third of these. Oh, no, this is the second one. Where is this, the second or third? I don't remember now. I think it'll tell me in a sec. Okay, Silo, too. I love this next line. There's something about the delivery, like that genuine, like, what the heck is going on here? Like that genuine frustration and confusion in that brute's voice is just great. I love using the environment as much as possible in this game. There are explosive crates all over the place that you can utilize to your advantage. Throw them, explode them, whatever. It has yet to get old. Now we're on to Silo 3. This is one thing I didn't really like. You might have seen that. I had highlighted the objective, and the second I went to raise the silo, it suddenly appeared in orange, and that just glaring in my face. Ugh. Let's see. Something's here. You don't say. Come out, you coward. You dare raise a weapon to me? Dude, the dialogue in this game is... everything just feels... all the little parts of this game just come together for a great whole. Again, I think I've said I do have my criticisms. Little bug there with the scorpion. Yeah, what was I saying? There's a lot of... I have my nitpicks. I have my issues with this game, but so much of this game just feels so great. Oop, touch the mic again. Now, as you might recall from the gameplay preview, once you take out the 4 silos, you get access to this tank. However, that's not the end of Ransom Keep. There's actually one other task to do, and it actually ties into the location where you pick up this tank. There are 2 locations. This areas are called... No, I'm thinking of something else. This area, though, is like it's recycling a bunch of UNSC and coveting an old gear, UNSC gear. So you're supposed to take down their garages or whatever. And one of those garages is where this tank was, so it was like next to be scrapped. We'll actually be able to see the inside of one of these in just a moment, though. For now, enjoy some badass tank gameplay. The tank is a lot of fun, but it definitely feels very, for lack of a better phrase, unwieldy, like some of the feedback that players had during the second flight. It feels like a mix between Halo Reach and Halo 4, and I always found those two to be kind of like the hardest tanks to maneuver. I don't know. It's not terrible, but I definitely found myself overcorrecting when I turned that turret. Yes, that went very great for you, didn't it? Alright, I think we should be cutting to the interior of one of these garages very soon. And I wish we would, because there's only so much longer I can keep talking about this tank. Oh yeah, you saw the top there got blown off, exposing the chief. Alright, here we go, finally. So here's the other half of the game. You're supposed to go into these garages and stop these fabrication or scrapping units. Now here's something cool. So you see the shield door there to get to the actual garage is blocked by something, basically a fuse, which I have to now go destroy in order to take down the shield door. I actually cut out a lot of looking for this thing. I had no idea where to find it. Use that scan, people. It's very useful. But of course, we all know how Chief takes care of problems. Smashing them. That's pretty much the end of this gameplay preview, though. I hope you enjoyed this like the other ones. Our 5th and final video will come out tomorrow, unless you're watching this on Patreon, and that will cover a mission known as the Tower. Now, that was where the story really starts kicking into gear. There's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot more heavily edited, and also a lot harder to avoid spoilers with. So engage with that at your own peril. Anyway, though, thank you for watching as always. Stick around for that Patreon shout out. And until next time, this has been Halo Canon. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Horospus patrons. First, there's Hope. Then we have Freight, Man in the Dark, Keisha Dila, Daddy Anarchy, Great Scott Productions, Jumpy Sucks Balls, and Lone Ronin 117. Thank you all for your amazing support of the channel. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/HaloCanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits, such as behind-the-scenes materials, including raw audio for upcoming videos, or even shoutouts like this. All patrons now get early access to certain videos as well, and more benefits are to come. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoy this, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.